What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I am here with my all tea, all shade Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14, episode 2 review. Want to give you all a friendly disclaimer because we are at the beginning of this new season, and we know some of you all like to tussle. Some of you get a little bit too invested in these reality shows. So let me remind you, or just give you a quick disclaimer for you newbies, that on this channel, I don't care if you agree with what I have to say or not. State your opinions down below in the comments section. Don't come for me and mine. I don't play all that "you biased girl" and blah, 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 blah. I do my job and I keep it moving. You should too. Okay. Shout out to the winner of yesterday's 50K subscriber giveaway. Shout out to T Squad member Jade. She won the $75 Amazon gift card. Today will be the last and final giveaway. So make sure you guys tune in to the full review, because somewhere in this review I will post my giveaway question, and whoever answers first down below in the comment section will win the last final grand prize. Now let's get into tonight's review. So we start off the episode with Sonya at home, and she has her whole family with her. Come to find out, it's not just her parents. She also has her sister and her sister's husband and their two kids, along with her child or children. I can't remember how many kids she has in the house. So it's a total of like 9 people in this house. And I'm like, girl, you a better one than me, because I know damn well I couldn't live in a house with all of my family. Shit, it's hard enough just living here with Kyrie's ass. But she says that her family will be living with her for a year, and hopefully at the end of that year, they will have made the decision to stay in Atlanta. Her sister does her hair. I remember on her reality show back in the day on OWN, her sister had a salon where they used to live and everything, and her mom is her manager. So her mom and her sister are in the kitchen. The mama started arguing about beef patties and shit, and mama just got slick shit to say left and right, and it's just too much femininity in this house, child. I'm like, I don't know how they gonna survive 3 women in one house with their own relationships, trying to run a household, and mama feel like she could say and do whatever. That's a lot, but God bless her. God bless her. So then we go to Chateau Sheree. Chateau Sheree is completely finished, and I must say that Chateau Sheree is stunningly gorgeous. It's very much my aesthetic. I loved every room. Wasn't nothing over the top, flashy, country, gaudy, or anything like that. Everything was tastefully done. So Kenya comes over, and they have a Kiki one-on-one, which is something that we are not used to seeing with these two, because they did not get along in the past. So Sheree takes her down to the basement. Remember the last time Kenya went down to her basement uninvited. She wasn't welcome to go down there. She was being nosy and snooping, and she saw that Sheree's basement wasn't done, and they had the whole house war back then. But the basement is done now, and the basement ain't even a basement. The basement is a whole nother house, goddammit, with high ceilings and everything. It's like she literally had her own lounge downstairs, and Kenya can't do anything but go up and say, girl, you did the damn thing. So they sit on the couch, and Sheree is like, girl, like, I could just tell you are so happy. Like, I almost love you, bitch. Her and Kenya have a Kiki, and I really like them being on good terms, and I hope and pray that this lasts. So Kenya was like, how was the gala to you? And Sheree was like, girl, I could have wore my joggers. And I was like, these two shady bitches. So Kenya was like, all this, Marlo with all this, I got this, I got that, I got this type of money, da 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 da, is a turnoff to me. And Sheree was like, she had a lot to say about you. She said when you got here to Atlanta that you had an apartment with a white refrigerator. And Key was like, what's wrong with having a white refrigerator? At least I could pay my bills, which is true. But at that time, having a white refrigerator was a little bit declassé. So Sheree was like, she also said that you rented your Range Rover with somebody. I think she said Lisa Ray. And so King was like, I don't even know Lisa Ray like that. Like, I literally have met her, but we're not friends or anything like that. Especially not for me to be borrowing this lady's car. Jesus the Christ. I see that Sheree is coming into this season with a little bit of her bone carrying that she did in the past. I know in her interview with Carlos King on his podcast, she said that she wasn't going to be doing too much of that, but that's not what is coming across to me. So Sheree then FaceTimes Sonya so she can tell Kenya exactly what Marlo was saying as well, and basically the cosign. So she does that, and Kenya was like, she dragged poor Drew over her little bun last night, coming from the girl who actually just had Bosley hair implants, talking about a girl with a bun. And I was like, that's true, T. How you coming for somebody here and you just had a whole hair transplant? Like, make it make sense, sis. And I didn't even think about that last week. So she was also like, I have love for Marlo. And Sheree was like, she said she had love for you too. So they get off the phone with Sanya. And Sheree was like, Drew left her phone in the gift bag behind me. And, I had her phone. So I had her, she had her assistant come get it. So Kim was like, ooh, girl, you had her phone. She was like, Drew told Candy that you and her share an assistant. And Sheree was like, oh, like we do. And so they then show footage where Drew was telling Candy that her assistant Anthony, the dude that we met last week, that I felt like was doing team too much, was also Sheree's assistant, and that he was coming back telling her Sheree business, and that Sheree owe him money and this, that, and the third. And Candy was like, well, you need to talk to Sheree about that. So Kenya tells Sheree that he told her that you owe the assistant money, and he's been telling her all your personal business. Sheree was like, oh really? Like, okay. Now Sheree didn't deny it. I noticed that unless they cut it out, Sheree did not deny that she ain't owe this man money. And I'm like, is it hard times over there now? This shit going to ride with you and Tyrone. So Sheree says, that she hardly ever uses this guy. She uses him every blue moon. But now, with this being said on this reality show, moving forward, word get around town, ain't nobody gonna want to work with him because they know that he a big mouth and that he tells people business. So he's ruining his own reputation. And like I told y'all last week, I felt like he was doing team too much. And now it's being proven that he messy. So ain't nobody gonna want to hire him to be nobody fucking assistant. So Kiki was telling her, there's a lot going on over at that house. Some stuff about her husband getting a massage from an assistant, and then her and her assistant and they stuff going on. And so Sheree was like, well, she needs to be worried about that instead of being worried about me. And I was like, I felt like Sheree was taking it the wrong way. But then again, I did understand slightly where she was coming from, because instead of Drew going to Candy first and telling Candy what her assistant said, she should have just took it directly to Sheree and said, hey, this is going on. And also, you should have fired his ass, because what makes you think that he ain't going around telling your business to people? Drew. So she should have came to Sheree with it from the jump. So I can understand Sheree being like, the fuck, like she going around telling everybody, but she ain't come tell me personally. So I can understand that. But then again, I kind of feel like she maybe was going a little bit too hard on Drew, but then again not. It was kind of like I was stuck in the middle a little bit. So Key was like, y'all just need to talk. So then we see Drew and Ralph at their home, and they just finished eating dinner with their family. And Drew tells Ralph that Candy showed her this assistant of his ex-assistant's IG page. And she was like, do you still keep in contact with her? He was like, I fired her, but like we still talk. And so she looking like, oh, word? You niggas still talk? Because why are you still talking to this lady? Why? What do you all have to talk about? Explain this to me, please. But once again, I told you guys, I don't even know or believe how authentic Drew's storyline is, and I'll talk more on that as this review goes. So Ralph then goes on to say some shit to her like, I know that you might be feeling some type of way because of her looks. And she was like, how she look? He was like, she 50 years old. And she was like, so, and? Like, what that mean? Because I'm like, exactly. Pussy ain't got no face. And if your dick get hard at the right time and it's the right vagina there, you gonna take it. So, he also says that Drew had it out for this woman from the beginning. And Drew in her confessional was like, people say that he gaslights me. And the producer was like, what does gaslight mean? She was like, I don't even know. And then she Googles it and she like, oh my God, it's him. Oh Lord. Like, Drew can't be this dumb. I just refuse to believe that this lady is this stupid. I just refuse. So Ralph was like, if you don't want me to ever speak to her again, just say that. And she was like, I'm not going to do that. I want you to make that decision for yourself. Exactly. Like, that makes no sense because what are you talking to this new bitch for? We don't need to be making no new friends that are of the opposite sex, sir. Absolutely not. Especially with some bitch that you're saying that says she want to give you a massage. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? That's why I'm just like, this can't be a real storyline. It just can't because it's just so blatantly disrespectful and just silly. So she was like, I don't want to make that decision for you because I don't want you to resent me later for it. And he was like, there's a lot of stuff that I resent you for, but we'll get into that later. Excuse girl. Oh, Jesus. So Kandi is producing a play on Broadway. She's really excited about it. It's getting mixed reviews, but one of the reviews is really stellar. But she's done this venture on her own. This is not a Kandi and Todd situation. So Todd comes into the kitchen and they talk, and Kandi tells him that she needs him to help out around, the house and with their businesses, while she's busy with this play stuff. And she points out that he takes a lot of these little mini vacations. And he was like, but don't nobody say nothing when you gone for months at a time. And she was like, but yeah, that's for work. But I'm like, well, yeah, you work. That's true. He works as well. What he's supposed to do, just sit at home and twiddle his fingers until you get back? Kandi, you have to learn how to prioritize your husband and your family. I understand that Kandi is a go-getter, but at some point it's going to have to give. You're going to have to focus more on your family than getting to the bag. Like, you have money on top of money on top of money. You are the richest Atlanta housewife. Last time I checked, you was worth like $60 million. Like, you have more than enough money. I know that there's always more out there to get, but at some point you have to prioritize your family and your husband, because one day them vacations gonna be with another bitch. Shit. So she thinks that he feels a way about her producing the play by herself and not with him. I don't think that. I don't think that that's the case at all, because Todd did the encore by himself. He does his own projects at times too. I think that it's more so that Kandi is a hypocrite. She don't want Todd to do certain things, but then she turns around and does the same things, and he always reminds her of it. So Todd, we find out, has a condo in Jersey that he used to share 20 years ago with an ex of his. So he moved out after they broke up. The ex never did refinance the house, so the house got left in his name. He ended up having to pay for it, so now he got this property in New York that he can rent out, or they can stay whenever they go to New York. I get what he's saying. Like, this was 20 years ago, girl. Like, get the fuck over it. Like, I could see if this was an ex that you was with right before you got with me. Girl, this is 20 years ago. We can renovate that motherfucker, make it fresh and new. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of coming to the city and getting a hotel room all the time and paying all this money, we could, Airbnb this or rent it out. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that we could do to profit off of this, space. Because he was like, I'm not selling it, because that's a bag right there. He was like, I could make $5,000 or $6,000 off of this property. But Kandi's so stuck on the fact that this was something that he had in the past with an ex. But like he points out too, that she already had her house, that she done fucked and sucked and did everything else in, and I had to move up in that motherfucker. I ain't make no qualms about it. So Kandi was like, my name ain't on that house. And he was like, and my name ain't on this house. It's like the same issues that she has with him, he can always revert it back to her. Like, at the end of the day, that house that they live in is hers. If she want to, she could put his ass out when she feels like it. You know what I'm saying? So Kandi was like, I feel like you care more about that place than this one. And he like, girl, have several, sit down. I don't know if they actually are going through problems or they trying to make this a problem for TV. I don't know. But, I've said to you guys that at this point, I feel like Kandi's storyline has reached its course. Like, she has talked about and done everything that can possibly be done as far as her whole family situation. I want Kandi to bow out gracefully and leave before she's asked to leave, because what else is there for her to do on this show? Absolutely nothing. Just go head on and ride off into the sunset. You still doing your escape shit. You acting, you doing Broadway plays, like you got so much, you got restaurants and this, that, and the third. Like, bow out gracefully and just let them have it, because her storyline is literally done. So then we see Marlo at the crib, and no, I'm sorry. We see Marlo. She goes to the candy factory to see Kandi. Kandi is there doing a photo shoot for Halloween. And I must say that Marlo came in looking fabulous with her black long wig on with the bangs. She had on a crisp red lip. She had on a brown velvet see-through cat suit. It was giving me Laquan Smith vibes, or either Mugler vibes. That's what it was giving me. It was a perfection. And then she hit us with another whammy with her confessional look, where she had like this really cute short pixie cut with a black leather bustier in her jewelry. I was like, you better come on with the fashions, Miss Marlo. I loved those two looks. Obsessed. So Marlo says that she feels like she spoiled her nephews too much after they came to live with her. And Kandi was like, we posed this question in the plate of, why does it seem like blackness always has to equate with struggle? Because white people don't live that way. Other cultures don't live that way. Of course, you want to teach your kids responsibility and how to um be driven and work for things and not just be handed everything, but they should be also be able to be spoiled and have all the things that other kids are able to have. And I understood where Kandi was coming from with that, because me myself, I wasn't a kid that necessarily had to struggle. I did have struggle times with my family, but Tyrese has never really had to struggle for anything in his life. I've made sure that he lived a fairly, really good life where he was blessed beyond measures, but I still also made sure to put my foot down and made sure that he worked for certain things. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't have that spoiled mentality, even though he do a little bit, but not a lot. So Marlo was like, you know what, you're the only one that sends me cash apps for the boys and stuff, but I would appreciate for you to be more hands-on. You've never invited me over like for movie night or anything like that. And Kandi was like, well, you got to be the type of friend that you asking for. And I was like, period. So Kandi, her confessional reminds us that, Marlo used to date her guy brother back in the day and they used to be cool. But when she started coming around the girls on the show, that she acted real shitty towards her. And they showed us a flashback from back in the day where Marlo was saying to Kandi that she heard she was a sugar mama and she take care of men. Girl, I forgot all about that. So, Kandi then goes on to say to her, like, you never invite me to anything either. It's like people be expecting you to do all of this stuff for them when they never extend the same courtesy to you. It's like, Marlo, have several. So Drew is outside pretending to exercise with her husband, Wreck-It Ralph, and her assistant, Anthony Child, and some lady. I'm like, I need for her to give this drop it with Drew shit up, because this is the stupidest ploy to make money I've ever seen. Like, who's listening to you when it comes to exercise? You literally were filmed on camera this episode and last episode doing one squat, and it looked like you was winded, like you had run a fucking quarter mile, girl. Like, you can't even do one squat without saying, ooh. Ooh, like, girl, you ain't exercising and you didn't get no mommy makeover. That's a goddamn lie, girl. You ain't get shit done. So Ralph tells her, to clear her schedule because they gonna celebrate them, and she's super excited and everything. Then we see Ty meet up with Ralph and Ross at Blaze, and they just sitting around having fellas time, just talking about their relationships and shit, and catching each other up on what's going on in their lives personally. Then we go back to Marlo's house, and her nephew Michael is going to his first homecoming dance, and she's super excited about it because back in the day she didn't really get to experience those things. She got to go to only one dance when she was in school, and she goes on to talk to us about how her mom was on drugs and she used to get beat on a lot, that Marlo herself used to get beat on a lot growing up, and that foster care was actually her safe haven. And I want to know more about that. side of Marlo. We've seen where you are now. I want to learn more about where you were. What drove Marlo to have all of those arrests? You said foster care was your safe haven. So where did things go left? Like, what happened? Like, I want to know. Like, I want her to be candid about her past and be candid about her love life, because just own up to how you get your money, girl. Don't nobody give a fuck. Girl, get over it. So, she sends her nephew off to homecoming in style. It was a really cute moment. She taught him how to slow dance. It was super cute. But now we are at the moment for my 50K giveaway question. Okay, today's question, you guys, is I need for you to name my last 10 books. My last 10 books. Whoever names my last 10 books down below in the comment section first will be winning a Brandon Blackwood purse. I own several of his bags, and I really wanted to give you all a black owned designer bag to once again just support black owned businesses. And like I said, I'm a connoisseur of his bags myself. I love them. They are the ultimate statement piece. So whoever wins, like I said, I will comment back to you, and we'll work out all the other stuff afterwards. So name my last 10 books. Whoever does it first will win a Brandon Blackwood purse. Now we go back to Drew, who is dressed to the nines. I actually really liked her dress. It was super, super cute. Ralph had hair, makeup, and a stylist come to get her together. Her assistant then came and picked her up in a truck, a SUV, to take her to the destination. And Ralph rented out this Airbnb or whatever. He had roses just everywhere. It was super romantic, super cute. It's candles and stuff, and Drew was just over the moon. So they sit down for this romantic dinner, and they get to talking, and she's so excited, and he tells her that he can admit that, sometimes he can be an asshole. And she was like, yeah, you can. So Drew was like, I just want to make sure we don't have very high highs like this and then have these extreme lows. So as soon as she said that, his whole demeanor changed. He looking like, here she go. Like, are we really about to go there? So she says that she feels like she walks on eggshells around him because she doesn't want to feel his wrath. And I've been there in a relationship, and that is the worst feeling, where you feel like anything you say or do could start an argument or make this person mad, and here go another situation. And that's a horrible way to live. I'm telling you, I'd never go back to that shit ever again in my life. So he says that he just want to kick it for the rest of the night, and they can save, all the deep conversations for marriage counseling. And I understood, excuse me, I understood where Ralph was coming from. It's not about that tonight. Let's just enjoy each other's company. We can save all that for another night. This is just for me to appreciate you, for you to appreciate me, for us to get on our lovey-dovey shit. I understood where he was coming from, and I agreed with that. Drew, however, just still wanted to talk about their issues. And she says, this shows me that we can make it. And he was like, this show you? Like, the fuck? So then he was like, I'm going to schedule a session for you with Dr. Ken so you can learn how to speak to men appropriately, so you can convey whatever it is you're trying to say. And I looked at him like, I know you and your walnut head ain't talking about telling nobody to talk to a therapist so they can learn how to speak to a man. I speak to a man correctly when I see a fucking man. You bitch, you. Head shaped like a fucking peanut butter M&M. So she then says, so then she was looking at him like, you need to learn how to talk to women. How about that? So then he was like, Dr. Ken says that you use a lot of zingers. And she was like, Dr. Ken calls you a maniac. And he was like, doctors like him from the East Coast like to use a lot of words like that. And he was like, you don't even know what maniac means. And so she then Googles the definition and she reads it out. And of course that pissed him off, because like, bitch, you sitting here calling me a fucking maniac. If I'm a maniac, then why the fuck you married to me? So he get mad, and she was like, I'm sorry, I apologize. And Ralph was like, why don't you just try to have a good night? Like, he looking at her like, you always just trying to start shit. Like, can we just chill? And Drew was like, if I can't express myself, then what the hell are we doing? And so they just sitting there staring at each other, giving each other the stank eye. And she started crying, and she get up and walk off and dabbing her face and stuff. And then she comes back to the table, and Ralph was like, you know what? Tonight was not the night to fix things. Maybe I do too much. Doing stuff for you is just not the move. I regret doing this. And then he gets up and leaves her at the table by herself. And I'm like, I want to care, but I don't, because this is the same way y'all introduced yourself your first season, with your husband allegedly on some bullshit, y'all having a dinner scene from hell, and one of y'all being left at the table looking stupid. And y'all doing the same thing again this season. And that's why I don't believe it, because it's the same scenario. This is literally what y'all did last season. Start off with the bullshit, have a dinner scene from hell, one of y'all left at the table, then Drew crying, they go to counseling, they pretend like counseling works. Then for the rest of the season, everything is all lovey-dovey between them two. And then we start it all up again next season. That's why I don't believe this fucking storyline. I need more proof. I don't really care for Drew nor her marriage, because I don't believe anything that's going on. So how can I care for somebody when I don't even believe their story? Overall, I felt like this was a cool episode. I felt like it could have been given a little bit more, especially for this just to be episode 2. It needed a little bit more spice and drama to it. This to me could have been like episode 6 or 7, maybe, not episode 2. Overall, it was cute for what it was. I'll give tonight's episode a B-. It was cute, but they need to spice it on up. They gotta come with it. They gotta come with it. I'm ready for the clash of the titans to get to going. Let's talk down below, and you guys let me know what you thought about tonight's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Want to remind you guys that the week of May 16th, which is the week after next, May 16th, all the way to the following Tuesday, I will not be doing any reviews on any of the housewives shows, Marriage Boot Camp, Ready to Love, all that shit, because I'll be on vacation. I will, however, have spill the tea and behind the scenes videos rolling out that week that I'm on vacation. I will be vlogging both vacations. I'm going to Vegas for half of a week, and then I'm going to Dallas for the other half of that week. So I will be vlogging both trips. We're going to Vegas for Sheridan's birthday, and then we're going to Dallas for my brother's birthday. So I get to get out of here, my first vacation after wrapping up radiation and everything. So I'm super excited to go and have a really good time with my fam and friends. So remember that there will be no reviews that week, but as soon as I get back, we'll be hitting the ground running all over again. Love you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you all for supporting my channel. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you that are mothers, that have mothers, that have rainbow babies, that have had pregnancies that didn't go to full fruition. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. I wish you nothing but the best today. I hope that you had a peaceful, pleasant day filled with love. I love you guys. I love all of you guys, just period overall. I could not thank you for all of you guys subscribing to my channel, supporting my channel, all of your well wishes and prayers when I was going through cancer. I appreciate everything, you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are my extended family, and I can't say I love you all enough. And these little giveaways is just a small token of my appreciation for you guys. I will continue to do more of these throughout the year, just to show my thanks and appreciation and how grateful I am for each and every one of you. Now let's work towards getting to 100K so your girl can get her plaque. You dig? I love you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.